looks good.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Chaise Chat here on Sisterhood Cookout. It's your girl, Alicia Joy, with
And right, hi.
and we have a special guest this weekend. We know we've talked about a lot of different topics. We've gone into the pandemic. We've gone into entrepreneurships, familypreneurships. This week, we wanted to focus on health and fitness. So I have a very special guest on with us today, Recco Pearsall. Very, very excited to have you on today. And with your business, Wellness 365?
Correct.
Awesome. So we are so happy to have you on. So we just want to kind of talk a little bit about how you got started, what you focus on. I know I've been following your journey. I've seen some of the results from the people that you've had a chance to work with and to help them reach their fitness goals. So just give us a little bit of background, where you're from, how you got started. Just tell us all about it. Tell us all your business.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. First off, I really appreciate the opportunity, y'all. Thank you for having me and being able to share this information. I'm from North Carolina. I was started out as a military brat. Moved around. We lived all the way from Japan to Alaska, Georgia, and we ended up staying in Carolina, which was a blessing. I was able to be around my family, a majority of my family. And then I came up originally. I wanted to be honestly a radiologist. So this I guess fitness is a big turn. And the reason I guess I can give some thought behind that was I was introduced to this group called Coastal AHEC, and it's a group for minorities. They wanted to get more minorities into the health field. And then I've also had a lot of family members that were passing and friends that were passing due to cardiovascular diseases from all ages. First, as being younger, I was looking and seeing I was affecting the adults, older adults, and then I started seeing I was affecting people as young as I was, and this is as a teen, and all the way even my early 20s. So I decided to. Then I was going to go to school for physical therapy, and then ended up being a personal trainer. I started out just working underneath the physical therapist. And then some of the clients were saying, hey, this and that, the third, because I had played football for a little bit. And they were like, hey, can you train me? And then it would just, just kind of kept building up. So I was like, well, let me, spoke with a family member, my Aunt Linda. And she was like, well, just try it out. Recco School always be there. So I started looking at the passion and then even witnessing clients just losing their life due to the cardiovascular diseases. So I decided to take the career a little bit more, and I ended up opening 3 studios out in Denver, Colorado, and then I started doing some research and seeing how, and then taking surveys and seeing how convenient the more people, the accountability and things people needed, right? And then noticing how much knowledge, because I would have like all this knowledge just from learning and being around people, and traveling, trying to get understand the body and health more. And then I decided to come up with Wellness 365. I actually started out as Sweatshop Fitness and then jumped on the Wellness 365 to kind of rebrand the information. I train and coach people all over from the UK all the way to Hawaii right now.
Oh, wow.
And decided to go, I guess, a little bit more, I want to say I still train, but just more making information and things and making the program more accountable for people. And it's been helping. They was like, I wish I had somebody that could tell me when to eat, or, I wish I need more meals, or, this is boring. And half the time I'm spending my time like training and trying to make sure the business runs on the aspect of location. So I was like, well, I need to figure something out. And that's how Wellness 365 came about. It's more of a coaching. You still got the training, but it's more just the knowledge and the accountability, which is just phenomenal. It's been, I'm shocked by it. I was like, it's a lot of people. I'm like, I'm guessing it's working. But we took a lot of surveys and just to kind of see what people really needed. And then getting to the mindset, like before they come in, just like, hey, are you, what serious level on you scale of 1 to 10? And usually people reach out to you, at that moment. Something always triggers them to make them, whether it's their health, their body, or something. They're trying to date, And it's, they feel like a 10, right. We had, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on out there. They trying to get their groove, trying
Help
to
me
get the
get
groove back.
snatched.
Right, right. And man, I got some stories. I ain't gonna tell all of them, but I got some stories on that part too. But yeah, it's been phenomenal just watching how people how they transform, and the beauty of it. I'm big on energy, and just watching how people affect the people around them, and that's what it's about. It's kind of like the same thing you guys are experiencing right now with business. Is you have a few people, you have your people that you expect to support you, right?
Right.
They just like, hey, share this or tell somebody that. You kind of look and not really getting the response, and then once you keep doing it, and you start getting results, and you got strangers following you, then the ones around you you expect to support want to celebrate you. The beauty of that is we get I guess not the beauty of on this part, but we really get to see the loneliness on the side of working, but then you also get to see the beauty of it, like, well, uh the people around us, or the new circle, or the people, or it starts filtering them out, I guess is what I'm getting at. You're saying, all right, you got this handful of people, you got 5 folk, right? But only 2 of them, maybe 1 of them actually show love. Sometimes less is more.
Right.
So, and that's the thing. And then we get the bigger following.
So let me ask you this. So let's just make sure that we understand your focus. So you have your physical training, and then you have your coaching as well. So it's a 2-part business, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what does it consist of when you coach someone? Because the training we kind of get, because that's the exercise and the conditioning. But when it comes to coaching, like, how does that work for your business?
So basically, you get daily accountability on someone to make sure you're getting your meals in and you're getting your workout in, on that part. Because a lot of people just saying, hey, we wish we could someone tell us, this and that and the third. Because the thing is, people are busy. They're working 9 to 5, especially if they have kids. Even if you don't have kids, you can be busy. If you got a business on it, whatever the case is. The last thing people want, people love convenience, right? That's the only reason McDonald's is around. The food isn't that great. It's just the convenience.
No.
Right.
So I was like, well, let me take that same approach with the business. Let's just make this convenient. So it was like, all right, cool. They don't have to think about their meals I come up with. Don't have to think about the workouts. But the beauty of it is, I just sent a message to them today, yesterday. And it was about the way I can get someone to keep permanent change is by educating them. Now, it's one thing if you don't know and you're trying to eat healthy, everybody has their perspective. But then you give someone this knowledge, and you don't take that, not sitting all day, put them in a nutrition class, but you give them little tips, boom, boom, here and there, something that sticks.
Planting the
if you
seeds.
eat processed, right, if you eat late at night, you eat some carbs late at night, you're probably going to get a belly because of X, Y, Z. And they're like, hey, he's talking about me, all right? That's me. That's me.
It's like, did you see me last night? What's going on here?
Right.
Then they try it, and then they get the result. And then once they get the result, they're like, all right, he might know a little bit what he's talking about. And then it's the gaining trust aspect on it too. So then once they gain more trust, now, they have more confidence in the program. And then once they have the more confidence in the program, they say, okay, let me stick to it. And then now we have mastering the small things maybe that's holding someone back. Once those are mastered, the results are endless after that.
What's been the results for you in the program when it comes to COVID situation? Because I'm not gonna lie, I got home, I'm working from home now, right? So I've been here since March, and I'm not a homebody at all. Like, I'm very active, I'm always doing something. But I got here and it was like a kid in a candy store with anything I could get, anything I wanted, anything I desired. I consumed any and everything. And I completely stopped working out because this was the first time I could just do nothing and be okay with it, right? So now I'm back into exercising. So with your clients and people that are reaching out to you, how has that affected them? And is it easy for them to come out of this funk, or is it they're finding it harder?
That's a great question. to answer each individual is has taken it different. I've had some people just like you that were just coming out like kind of like, hey man, I gotta get it in while I can. Like I've been stressed, I've been stuck in here, and that's the way they deal with stress. Some people don't eat with stress. I'm a person, if I'm stressed, I won't eat. But then you have some people who eat with stress, right? So to answer your question is it's each individual is different. So with the people, I guess I'm gonna use a two-part answer. So with the people, I bring myself up, for example, the people who don't eat during stress, they have a lot of them had lost like their gains and the aspect of like body. They either got like, some people benefited for it, but the thing is if you don't eat, you'll start to binge eat. So then that depends on your body type. So it affected their results. But the thing was to not bash either or. The ones who eat or don't eat wasn't to bash them, was to do more of understanding. Because the thing is, now you have to cope with COVID, right? And how do you cope with COVID? I'm just a trainer, so I can't guide you in that aspect. But what I do give them on coping with it was, you have to focus on you no matter what. If you got kids and you fall and you break down, they still depending on you. If you're working, whatever the case is, your job depending on you. It's somebody who's dependent on you. If you're out here doing something, they're dependent on you. And then they have to think on that. And one thing about people is people love I think we watch the media and they put out, now there's a lot of bad things going on. I'm not disregarding that, but I think there's more kindness in people's hearts than what people understand. No one likes to feel like they're the dead weight on the end of a trainer. And then once people see that, they're like, oh, okay, let me kind of figure something out. And we tell them one day at a time. Yeah. It's like, all right, just do what you can do. And that's the beautiful thing, is just the effort. Do what you can do today. Tomorrow, we're blessed to have another day. So then we do it again. Right, and that's been honestly, it sounds kind of simple, but that's honestly been like the best way to kind of handle it for people. Because I definitely had that, like during COVID, or even coming out of COVID, just like you said, I was actually kind of, I didn't think I would get that response. I thought people was like, all right, I can kind of get back to my normal life, but people are creatures of habit. So when we was in quarantine for a while, right? So people were used to not going out there into the public, and all it takes is 21 days to build the new habit. So then once they do that, now they're kind of like, all right, we're used to this. And then we need to cope, because we might not go back. We might go back in and be stuck this way. And we don't know what tomorrow brings. So hopefully that answers the question.
It did answer the question. And I have a follow-up to that too. So have you gained more, like, are you doing virtual training, like more virtual training? Like, is there a clientele? Have you increased in clientele because of the virtual training?
Yes, I have. As soon as we start coming out of quarantine, a lot of people honestly wanted the people that were local wanted the in-person. They wanted the in-person. It did build up, but honestly, the virtual is still there. But most people honestly wanted to do the coaching aspect, because they're still trying to figure out if they want to go into the gym or not. So they're not sure. And with them not being sure, they didn't want to invest, because training isn't, training can be a little a pretty penny, and so they weren't sure on doing that. And the coaching program is two different ones you can buy on that, but they were saying, hey, well, I can handle it, but it was kind of something that kind of fit their lifestyle with it, because kids, especially the family members who had kids, because it was just that they didn't want no one watching the children, or you couldn't, similar issues we have with school coming up.
Right.
So, but more. A lot of people did jump on the virtual during COVID. A lot of them. I think I had probably, I probably jumped up like, I think it's like 70% increase on just the virtual training. It might have been high. I forgot. Nice. I gotta look at my laptop. It was like higher than that. And I was like, look, I'm taking too many clients. Like, I got too many. Cause people like, I'm gaining weight. I'm eating these Oreos.
Right.
I'm stressed. So, but this much is the thing about it. Training, always you get a new group of people during the summertime, because people start traveling. I mean, people during the month of July actually started traveling. It kind of resembled how it would be business-wise on a normal level
Oh,
during the
okay.
time. That's for in-person and online. So I was kind of shocked by that one. I was shocked by that one.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
here's a question for you. You hit on a great point when you were kind of talking about the relationship that you kind of have with your clients. And while you're not like a health professional in the sense of like a mental health professional, you kind of are, you know, because people
Right,
feel that confidence with you, and they kind of feel like, okay, I have someone who's really invested in me and helping me to become a better person. So you kind of build that relationship with them. Um,
right.
would you say that the pandemic kind of caused people to be a little bit even more clingy, or would you say that it kind of, you know, stayed the same, or how has that changed for you? And also, how has that affected how you do business with people
That's
moving
another
forward and growing your business?
right. That's another great question. Yes, I've had to. So I did have to have a coping session. With it. So basically, I think when it gets to, so I guess I'll give you an insight of my mind, like with the client for a second. So I can have a client who has like a eating disorder, right? And I may not realize, they may not even know it. They just say, hey, we just eat processed sugar because I get stressed. But the thing is, something like I had a client who, you know, something happened to them growing up, and that was the cause of like their weight. So therefore, like it was something, I had to realize like that's beyond my scope of practice on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But then you take a person that's just like, you know, hey, you know, they still dealing with stress, but it's something like I can relate to. Because even for like going to PT, physical therapy school, you still have to, just like what you're saying, you have to have that relationship with each client.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we had to take like a group of psychology classes, and I actually went and took a few more just because I was very intrigued and interested on how the mind worked.
Right.
So speaking with the clients during COVID was, I did have a lot of discussion on that, a lot more with each one, because it was something that I'm coping with as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I like to put myself in the forefront, or you know, just on experience. So they say, hey, you know what, he's going through this, and I like to put other people's examples too, just for more a person can relate. And
Right.
once a person sees them, you know, in this other person's shoes, then they say, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
know what, this is me. And they say they can
Right.
get through it. This is me getting through there. So it
Mm-hmm.
was that was the kind of way of kind of putting it there. But it was challenging. I had to do a lot of talking with some people. I had to do a lot of talking with people, because it was just, for me, like being in the house, I'm like, shoot, I've been in the country coming up, you know, during a hurricane. So
Right.
I'm kind of I'm kind of
Right.
cool, you
Out
know,
in the
with
bushes, the sticks,
right.
okay?
Right. See, you know. So I was like, I mean, it was, you know, you still want to do stuff. You can't go to the movies like, man, this is, you know, it's worse than what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
But to some people who's always out, you know, especially you take somebody such as, you know, it's like New York City
Right.
got hit heavy, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you out there outside doing something, you can do something 24/7. It's always
Right.
something moving. That's different. That's very different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chip, nah, great question though.
So what would you say to someone, let's say, that is a bread lover like myself, and
Right.
she has a hard time letting go of those carbs? I love bread, Rico. I love, because you know, at our family reunions, okay, let me just lay it out for you and everybody who's watching. We
Right.
have tables of just desserts. Okay, so you got
That's
somebody
true.
on the
That is
grill,
true.
the smoker, the fried food, and
That is
tables
true.
of the desserts, okay?
Right.
Right.
So coming up from that, you know, from that upbringing, what's the one key thing that you feel like really helps people turn the page on their addictions to sugar and carbs?
Um, turn the pages and trying to get away from that, correct? Trying
Right.
to get away from that.
Because I love a biscuit. I'm just going to tell everybody.
Right. The first thing I like to do with people is focus on timing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like to give people too much, because it can become overwhelming.
Right.
If you like, it's kind of like, you know, math. We first had to learn how to do 1 + 1, You know, once subtract one, then we go to multiplication, and then we end up with algebra on that level. So I try to keep the same type of method with this, and we focus on the timing.
Right.
And it's like the timing, I tell people, say, hey, you know, you can't have carbs after this time, or you can, you know, do this in the morning. And then once I tell them, usually the reaction kind of lets me know, like, without asking. Like, oh, I'm like, okay, boom. Mental check, you know, let me go ahead and jot this
How
down.
about if I don't put no butter on the biscuit? Does that count?
Right, 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 exactly. So then they, you know, they grow from that. Because if I tell them only take this and don't do this and do this, what'll happen is they'll try, but then I bring in the thing, because the first week they're working out, they're gonna be pretty sore. So now they're like, he's asking me to do too much. Then you have a regular life that's coming in. So just keeping things where it's simple on that part, and then I give them a little bit more. And then afterwards, I ask them what to do. I give them the why. So just like you said with processed sugar.
Right.
One thing about processed sugar is is actually broken down twice. They get it from processed sugar is made from a sugar beet. And then they do, and that's made with GMO. So they want to make these things as big as they can. And then afterwards, they process it again until the white granulated form of sugar that, you know, which we see put into our coffee or whatever. So now and I explain to them how it affects their metabolism, right? And not even just how it affects the metabolism, but like why and where. A lot of people don't even know. You can try to eat healthy. A person can try to eat healthy, and they're like, hey, you know, why am I not gaining weight? Because it's still messing with the metabolism. And the thing is, we got to correct that metabolism. So I don't want to cut out someone's, you know, fun eating, but just limit it. Because the thing is, I'm trying to create a lifestyle for them. And they're going to do things because you got friends around. So it's like, hey, you know, I can do this. I'm like, hey, you can do X, Y, and Z. The bread and butter, you can have it, but just have it this time. So now, and then even on top of it, they have something to look forward to. So then once they start getting this knowledge, like, all right, processed sugar is affecting me, you know, everything with a loaf in it, I tell them, like, look at the ingredients. No one knows what half the ingredients are on the back, but I tell them, like, look at the loaves. So it's going to either say sugar, you know, it's processed sugar on the back of the label, or it'll say sucralose or fructose or any of those things.
Oh, that's what you mean by lows. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, lows? What's that?
Like,
Lows with the most? Like, what are we talking about?
Okay.
And now they grasp that, and they like, wow, you know, this making a difference. Not even just making a difference on it, but the processed sugar will get you addicted. It's as strong as cocaine. So if you take a person who dies due to cocaine overdose or die due to a processed sugar correlation, then you look at the brain activity. A doctor can't tell you if he's just looking at the brain activity. They can't tell the difference.
Right, I've heard that.
Yeah. So only way they can tell the difference is they start looking at the blood and stuff like that.
How many chins they got?
Right. He been eating good. Oh yeah, that's that sugar right there. Right.
Yeah. That's sugar is a serious addictive tool.
It is.
Very. And it's crazy. I find it crazy. There's more research I had did on. I was
Recco, we just lost you. We just lost your video.
Hold on.
There you go.
Where am I? There we go. I thought it was crazy, just like seeing this research and seeing how it affects how they can get away with it. I just thought it was crazy.
Right.
But it is what it is. They put so many chemicals and stuff in there that it's just. Once you got money, basically, you kind of get away with things, and that's what it comes out to be.
Right.
And you know, it's so funny because I've been doing a lot of research. I've done a lot of research when it comes to food and how food affects everyone, and why the United States of all countries is the most obese country in the world. And that's due to anything that's approved by the FDA, don't always think that's a good thing, because they approve anything that layers their pockets. So all the foods that we love the most are the worst foods for us, including the ones that they say are organic. Of course, organic is just a label. It doesn't mean a thing anymore. and it's something that you want to do, like starting your own home garden. My sister-in-law started her own home garden, and she's been doing that for like 7 or 8 years, and she does it on her patio, and they are getting so much more healthy because they had high blood pressure, they had diabetes in family, they had blood circulation issues, and just because they grow their own fruits and vegetables, just that alone, I'm not even talking about fruits or anything else, this is vegetables, they have reduced so much health issues and reduced the amount of medication. They may still take a little bit of medication, but compared to what they used to, pharmacy they used to have in the house, they reduced that. So I do agree with you when it comes to, and I'm an addict. I go to the AA meetings for sugar. I do.
Right.
It's a big thing. And right now, what I've been working on most is reducing my processed sugar intake. Like no sugar in my coffee. I do need my creamers, but I moved to almond milk creamers. I don't do dairy. I do cheese once in a while. But things like that, just helping to understand all the carbs are sugar. That's a processed sugar. People don't think that is. They think, oh, we don't eat bread, but that's because it's processed sugar. It's more than that.
Right.
So
right. No, y'all are. I know y'all are hitting it. Yeah, if you're hitting it on the head, it's especially got DVDs out there now. What is it? What the hell?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I'm
Super Size Me, I think it was in. Yeah, it's crazy once you watch it. I even cut back on eating meat too. Especially that they teach you once you learn macronutrients. You got to get this amount of protein and this and that. There, you can still get the protein, but it's kind of encouraging to eat the meat. But the things that they're doing with the meat is it's questionable. So buying, just like you're saying, growing your own stuff, buying from local butchers and things like that is
Black
huge.
farming is something that I would love to see more of. I think it's something we've kind of gotten away from as a culture. And I think they even had a special about it, on Netflix, that, how so many of the younger generations are letting go of the farms because this is not something we were brought up on. While we saw our great uncles and grandparents and great grandparents doing it, it's not something that really got passed down because it was like a shift from that generation to our generation. So it's like, I think I'd love to see more of that kind of being pushed. And you kind of start to see it in the little pockets in certain metropolitan areas. Philadelphia, I know they're trying to beef up, local farming and so forth. But I think even for myself, once I purchase my first home, I'm definitely going to look into having a little farming area, just to be able to grow my own things. Because you have no idea nowadays walking to the store what you're getting.
No, very true. Not at all. And just like Ninja, having like a Ninja mixer where you make your shakes, you can make your own dough in there, and you could do a whole lot of different things and little projects. So like using the quarantine time, it's the best time to learn how to do these little things. It's time to practice. So if you're home and you don't have anything to do and I'm bored and I don't, I'm depressed, find something to do. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. Read books. YouTube. I am a YouTube fanatic when it comes to learning anything. I will YouTube it to that. So YouTube is always a good learning tool. If you even got a little windowsill, you can grow something. Even if it's your herb, even if it's your own herb, you can grow anything. So I'm a big advocate on doing that. Now, have I actually started yet? No. But
I plan to start. I do plan to start. Like I just moved in last week, and we have a little bitty patio space, but not much, soil or anything back there. So I'm like, I wanted to try to, lay something out, get a few pots and plants or whatever, and just start something. Anywhere's a good starting point. Just do something.
Do something, right? And I'm pulling my stuff together. So I'm even though I'm talking about it, but I'm working my way up to it. Like you said, it start with 1 + 1. Let's do it little by little. So I'm actually getting my things together. So that way, once I start, I'm good to go. But it's just that starting point. A lot of people just need to get started. And having conversations like this positive movement to good health and wellness definitely makes you want to do it or push to do it. Just do it. Not even want to do it. Just do it. Just do it.
People tell me all the time I need to eat more greens, and I need more greens, and I'm painting my wall green, so I hope that counts for something.
Hey, I know that's right.
It's a start. It's the mental. I gotta condition myself to take in green more so that I can eat it more. That's what I'm telling myself.
Are you going with it? Okay. Anything that helps. Anything that helps.
I know that's right.
Exactly. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Recco, for joining us today. We're super happy to have you on and to share some of your knowledge with us and your background. Give us the web pages, the handles on social media, where people can find and follow you and get more information about your programs.
Sure thing, guys. You can find me on my Instagram at Recco P, RECCOP. Facebook, first name RECCO, last name PEARSALL. And then also my website is Wellness, WELLNESS, wellness365.webflow.io. Wellness365.webflow.io. If you got any questions too about anything, feel free to just message or reach out to me in regards to any question that you have about your health and body.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely put those links down below so you guys can get that information and see Recco and reach out to him if you are interested in his programs. But we are super blessed. We wish you many, many blessings of growth and prosperity and continued change in people's lives with your business and your services. So thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, y'all. Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll have those links ready for you guys. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. All right.